morning, everyone. I'm again your teacher for today, Teacher Shelly, for our week 33rd, day 2. And for today's lesson, based on our lesson last Monday, it was all about marine fire drill, no? That was the part 1 and part 2. And so for today, we will continue with our part 3 and part 4. Now, last Monday, the basics of the fire at sea, why is it important? Why do we have to do it for all our crew members on board? And for today, this will be the execution, no, for the maritime fire drill presentation, the part 3, which is the execution, the live drill. So, okay. For the execution part of our discussion, live drill is an active simulating real life emergency to practice crew members' response to an emergency situation. Okay, so it's not just a walkthrough, no, or just purely a discussion. We have to know the practical side of it and how we are going to hands-on the part where the crew physically performs their assigned duties as if there's really an actual fire on board. And this includes number 1 is the reporting to stations, no? So meaning everyone or every crew member goes to their designated posts on the ship. Okay? So that's what reporting to stations means, no? So for number 2, operating equipment, meaning the fire pumps are already started, the hoses are charged with water, the fire doors are closed, no? And the most important part is the emergency ventilation systems are active or operated. That's what operating equipment means, no? And then the third one is wearing gear. So here, the crew members, particularly those who are assigned in the what do you call this? The firefighting party, should wear or should put on their firefighting suits, no, the gear and the breathing apparatus. And lastly, the following procedures, meaning they have to follow the steps, no, that are laid out in the ship's emergency plan, no, such as locating the fire, the fighting fire hoses, where is it located, and also knowing if ever there's victims of fire, no? So the goal of this live fire drill here should be realistic, no, as possible. Okay, and sometimes we even use, or you even use on board, smoke machines, or sometimes you turn off the lights, no, to simulate low visibility. All right, so in order for this live drill to be as realistic as possible, so that the crew members will build memory on how you are going to do the emergency procedure properly. Okay, so these steps, these four things are should be practiced during live drill. Okay, now next to this is of course, if there is a drill, we always hear a sounding alarm, right? So this sounding alarm during a marine, fire drill, or live drill is the first and most critical or crucial step, because it's how the person or the crew members discovers the fire. So to let everyone on the ship know that there's an emergency on board. So here's how the sounding alarm is executed in a drill. Alright, so one is the discovery. Okay, you discover something, that there is emergency case because of the alarm, no? And then second, after hearing the alarm, sometimes you can see already a smoke, no, from a smoke machine. So it's easily discovered that there's something wrong, or there's a need of emergency if you see something, or if you hear something like the alarm, and if you see something like a smoke from a machine, no? And then secondly, if you hear something, you execute the what do you call this, you activate the alarm after hearing that, like for example, you hear the sounding alarm, no, and then you see something, so activating the alarm, immediately the crew member goes to the nearest, no, manual call point, or that red box with a button. I'm sure everyone knows or have seen that already, no? So that red box button, you all you have to do is to just push that, okay? And that particular time, that's a crucial step, because it automatically sets off the main fire alarm. Okay, and then the third one, you have to report that to the bridge. Alright, you have to report that to the bridge, because the bridge is the center of everything on board. Okay, and then the fourth one is the announcement. Okay, so here the officer on the bridge takes over and uses the ship's public address system or the PA system to broadcast the emergency that the crew member discovered. Alright? Now, this whole process is about one, being fast. Second, you have to be clear. Alright? And the third one is you have to follow the correct procedure. Okay? So that it gets everyone on the ship, from the captain to the newest deckhand, to their designated emergency posts, no? They can start fighting now the fire as a coordinated team. Alright? So, for the execution drill, live drill, yes, this one is a form of putting out a fire. And also this one. Okay? Now, yes, this is what I meant earlier. This is what I said earlier, that sounding the alarm is the discovery. Alright. Discovery. And then, you discovered something. And then, next, you activate this one. Alright. And then, once you push the button here, okay, it shuts off the main fire alarm. And then third, you report that to the bridge, of course, who is an officer on duty. And then that officer in charge in the bridge will announce, alright, the emergency situation. Alright? So next is the general alarm. Alright. This general alarm is the ship's most important warning signal. Right? It's the all hands on deck alarm for any major emergency, not just fire. Alright? So again, general alarm is the most important ship's warning signal. It's the all hands on deck alarm for any major emergency, not just fire. Now, think of it as the sound that means you drop everything and then go directly to your emergency station. Alright? So, how is this executed? Alright. It says here that general alarm signal has 7 short blasts plus 1 long blast. Meaning, 7 short sound. Ngek, 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 7. And then 1 long blast. Meaning, that kind of alarm or that kind of sound is general alarm. Okay? So, how is this executed? Alright. So, first is the signal. You have to listen carefully for the sound signal. As I said, general alarm, it sounds like this. Okay, 7 short blasts plus 1 long blast. Alright? This is a unique and unmistakable sound. Okay. Second is activation. Alright. General alarm is usually activated from the ship's control system, which is the bridge, by the officer on duty. They have a specific button or switch for this purpose. Okay? So, we all have to be very careful, the officer on duty here, to make this call or to make this alarm. Okay? It's only located at the bridge, the control center. Okay. Now, what will be your response to this? Alright. As I said earlier, once you heard the 7 short blasts and the 1 long blast, well, immediately, whatever you're doing, anything, you leave it behind and then go directly to your assigned posts or stations, or what we call muster station. Now, in a drill, the OIC or the officer in charge, alright, of the drill will initiate this alarm, will make this alarm. This is just during the fire drill, everyone. Alright? At the beginning of the drill. Alright. Now, once you heard that, this is the start of the entire emergency response chain, from the crew heading to their stations to the officers preparing to manage the emergency. Now, this general alarm is universal signal on ships. Alright? So, all sailors, everyone, you guys, in a marine fire drill, the master and the head count are two crucial steps. Alright? That really happened after the emergency alarm sounds. Okay? So, can everyone still catch up with the discussion? Alright. So, okay, I'll make it slower. Okay. For the master and head count, okay, master, okay, this simply means, alright, to gather, alright, everyone on the ship, the crew and passengers, if there is, gathered in or at their designated muster station. And muster station should be specific, specific, which is pre-designed or pre-assigned safe location. Alright? Now, typically, as you can see here in the image, in the picture, it's open. In an open deck, of course, where everyone goes during emergency. And the goal is to get everyone away, alright, from the danger and into a single organized area. Alright? And then when you say head count, yes, head count. This is now the process of taking a roll call at the muster station to make everyone is accounted, to make sure everyone is accounted for. Like for example, if you are this is just for example, in a car ship, the crew normally are 22. Alright? So, once you heard that general alarm, you or everyone go directly to the muster station. Alright? And should be head count. Everyone should be present. 22 crew for the car ship should be present in the muster station, because once few of them are missing, there should be something wrong. Alright? It's either they were locked or they were injured or what. That's why head count is important. Okay? Crew members, alright, in charge of each station will check off a list of names to confirm who is present. Now, this is also a critical step because it quickly tells the ship's command team if anyone is missing or trapped inside the ship. Now, which helps direct rescue efforts. That's why head count is important. Now, in simple words, muster and head count is the process. Simply saying, you go to your assigned safe spot, which is the muster station, and then let someone know you're there. That's what head count means. Okay? So, you have to understand what is happening no matter what language they speak, because sometimes there are mixed nationalities on board, right? So you have to understand what language they speak, which is commonly it's the English language. Alright? So for our yes, this is what I meant, communication. And then on the bridge, our control center, the bridge. Alright. Now in marine fire drill, this refers to the central hub, the bridge, of course, for managing the entire emergency. So it's basically the nerve center where the ship's captain and officers normally lead the response. Okay, so communication on the bridge, in simple words, is the brain of the operation. Okay, the bridge is where all decisions are made. Alright, the crew on the bridge is responsible for assessing the situation, the communication with all the other teams, no? like the firefighting team and the engineering downstairs, no? And this is where making critical choices to make sure the safety of the ship and everyone on board. Alright? So, the bridge is the brain of the operation, and also that is the command post, the bridge. Here, the captain and the senior officers on the bridge act as the control tower, right? Because they receive updates from the teams on the ground, alright? And then direct them where to go, alright? And then they decide on tactics, alright? And then how to activate the pumps, okay? And which doors to close, alright? And whether to change the ship's course to reduce the smoke spread. So, all here, okay, on the bridge is the control tower. Okay? And essentially, excuse me, essentially, while firefighting teams are on the ground, okay, or on the deck, which is actively fighting the fire, the bridge team is in the background, alright, directing the entire operation, okay, from a position of a safety and with a full overview of the situation. Alright? So, bridge is the control tower. Okay? Now, next is, yes, this one. This one is the bridge, right? So, here, a photo of the bridge team focusing on the radio operator and the master, and then showing them that they are calm, they are professionally operating the equipment. So, this is how the bridge is handled by the officers. Okay, our control tower. Now, for the master or the attack team's movement from the master to the scene is that this one describes the critical sequence or the steps of events. Okay, so remember, from the master, the safe station that the crew will go directly once they heard the alarm. All right, and then from there to the scene. Okay, so its transition or its changes from a state from the general alert to a full-scale organized response, emergency response. Now, how are we going to simplify, okay, the steps? So, for number one, alarm sounds. Now, here, isn't it, you hear the general alarm or what specific alarm is signaled? Alright, and then you go to the master station. Right? You go to the safe stations or where you are assigned, and then you are ordered to go to the bridge, right? And then from there, okay, this moment when highly trained firefighting team is already wearing their protective gear and they're carrying already the other equipment, and then it moves from master station towards the scene or the location of the fire to begin their work. Alright? Now, essentially, in this phase where the ship's organized emergency plan is put into action, okay, moving the trained crew, from their safe gathering point, which is the master, and then to the emergency location to manage the situation. Okay? So, can everyone still catch up with the discussion? Alright. So, for here, yes, so from the master station to here, to the scene, the attack team in action. So, they're already performing the drill here. Alright? So, they're serious. You can see that they're serious towards the putting out the fire. Okay. So, attacking the fire as a teamwork. Alright? No, this means that there's a coordinated or there's an organized and coordinated effort effort of a specialized team or like the firefighting team, no, on board to respond and extinguish a simulated fire. Okay, now here, it's when you say teamwork, it's not just about one person spraying a hose. It's all about a well-trained group or crew that is working together. Now, with each specific job, that's what teamwork means. Okay? Now, in simple words, everyone has a job here for the teamwork. Each person, no? Each person should have each crew, no, on the fire team has a clear role. All right, and one is holding the nozzle, all right, and the other one may be holding the hose, okay, and the team leader will guide the entire operation. That's how teamwork means or works, no? Everyone has a job and they act as one. So the team moves as a unit, no? Communicating constantly to navigate where the ship's corridors or the alley, okay, and then they operate the equipment and respond to challenges properly. And then the most important part here is that their movement, no, their movement and actions are synchronized or in one to ensure the fire is contained and most especially extinguished safely and efficiently. And one most important here is that trust is essential. Yes, you have to trust each other here. So, as you can see here, someone is holding the nozzle. And maybe the other one at the back is holding the hose. Alright? And then the one in front of this crew is the one directing the situation. Okay? And the trust in here, in this team, trust is essential. you must trust each other, all right, to do your job correctly. You will not disagree with each other, all right. Your actions should be synchronized, all right, from the person handling this, the pump, the hose, all right, the team, the whole team basically, all right. So this trust is built through repeated drills, okay. So your expertise here is really needed as a team, okay. So let's go to containing the heat, boundary cooling. All right, this one, containing the heat, this is the process, no? This is the process of what do you call this? Preventing a fire from spreading. All right, by spreading, by what means? Of course, by cooling the walls here. All right, by cooling this one. All right, the floors also, and the ceiling also. You have to cool it down. All right, where the fire is located, because this is by simply cooling down the walls, the floors, and the ceilings. It's a defensive strategy, all right, used to contain the fire, okay, and of course to stop it from reaching other parts of the ship, okay. So in simple terms, think about our fire as a hot oven, okay. Now, boundary cooling is like spraying cold water on the outside of the oven to keep its heat from burning the kitchen counters, all right, and cabinets that surrounds the kitchen. Now, by cooling the surfaces, the fire affected area is that you keep the fire from spreading, all right, to new rooms and fuels. So this makes it easier, no, for the fire team to safely enter and extinguish the blaze, right? So containing the heat or the fire, you have to cool down the walls, the floors, and the ceiling. Alright? Now, the ventilation control. Alright. Starving the fire of oxygen. Alright. To starve a fire of oxygen during marine fire drill means to remove the oxygen, alright, or the air a fire needs to burn. Alright? Again, starving the fire of oxygen during marine fire drill, you have to remove, okay, the air that a fire needs to burn. Just like, for example, everyone, no? Let's apply this in a practical manner. Okay. Just like us, a person, us, okay? We need air to breathe, right? Alright. So, just like the fire, they need oxygen to keep it burning. Okay? So, just like us, we need oxygen to keep us alive. Now, by taking away this oxygen, the fire will what? Off. Okay? Will put off. Just like us, if we don't have oxygen, we'll die. Just like the fire. Okay? Just like the fire. Now, oxygen needs to be taken out or removed. Alright? Because by taking out or taking away this oxygen, you can put the fire out. Alright. Now, in simple words, closing the door hatches, alright, that is the most common way to quickly seal off the area where the fire is. Alright? Now, in this manner, alright, the sealing off of the area where the fire is, this traps the fire inside the compartment, preventing fresh air from coming in. So, naturally, if there is no oxygen that comes in, the fire will be out. Alright? The fire out will be the next procedure or the next scenario. Alright? Now, so sealing this ventilation, alright, the crew will close the vents, the fans, or other ductwork leading to that space where there is a fire. Alright? So, this is a critical step also, because opening this ventilation would continue to feed in oxygen. So, the fire will still keep on burning. So, this method is particularly effective for fires in unenclosed areas like engine rooms or cargo holds. So, it's a key part of passive firefighting, which focuses on containing a fire rather than directly attacking it with water. That's why it says here, the ventilation duct use a large, alright, X mark or a stop sign to illustrate the point of isolating the area, meaning this area is isolated. Alright? So, is it clear how we are going to starve the fire of oxygen? Alright. So, next. Yes. Securing the scene. Now, after a marine fire drill. Alright, the post-extinguishment phase. This is the period of time right after the simulated has been put out. Okay, now this is the final and crucial step to make sure the situation is already complete or safe and the fire won't reignite. So, in this securing phase, okay, number one meaning of this is the cooling down and watching. Herein, as you can see in this image, the fire team continues to cool the area with water and monitors it closely, no? So here they're making sure that any hotspots are completely extinguished and that the fire doesn't flare up again. Alright? So, think of it as a cooling down the coals of a barbecue. Okay, can you figure out? And after the flames have disappeared, alright? So, can you figure out? Alright, now. So, secondly, securing the scene means the team will secure the area by checking any damage, okay, ensuring that all equipment used is returned to its proper places, and then restoring the ship. Okay, the crew will begin to carefully ventilate the area to clear any smoke if there is, hot gases, so making it safe for them to operate again normally. So in this phase, the securing phase is about just making sure that the fire is truly and completely gone and that the ship is returned to a safe and stable condition. Right? So as you can see here, the fire team leader is giving already a thumbs up. Look at her hands. So that means it's all clear. Alright, and the signal with the fire watch posted nearby, and this symbolizes a successful completion of the securing phase. Alright, so next, okay, communications during the drill for part 1. Alright, here you have to speak calmly, clearly, and concise, meaning exact. You have to be calm. It should be clear. It should be exact. Alright? You have to be you have to have a message sent and received over the radio, easy to understand, and it is accurate. In this step, the radio or the communication, this is crucial because a misunderstanding could put the entire ship and crew in danger. Alright? Now, when you say speak clearly, it should be brief, it should be short. And you should use simple language. Alright? Avoid shouting or pronouncing it in a slang manner. You have to be calm. Your voice should be steady. And make sure that you position your radio correctly, close to your mouth. Alright? And then, you listen carefully. Alright? Always listen to the channel before you transmit before you transmit, to ensure that you are not interrupting an urgent message. So pay close attention to what is being said. Listen carefully. Including knowing where is the location of the fire. Okay? Now, ineffective communication is the lifeblood of an emergency response. Okay. Without this communication, alright, without a well-trained team, it can be disorganized, or it will become disorganized. Now, leading, or it will make confusion, it will make delays, and sometimes dangerous mistakes. That is why communication is important. Okay? Next. Yes. This is the part 2 of the communication during the drill. Alright. Here, there are different scenarios. Like, bridge to fire team. Alright. Bridge to fire team. First, this is the bridge. Alright? Okay. So the bridge says, fire team leader, proceed to galley fire. Report on arrival. Alright? So, the officer on the bridge, okay? The officer here call for the fire team. He said, proceed to galley fire. Then report on arrival. And here, the second, alright, the fire team, alright, reports to the bridge. Like, bridge, we are at galley. Heavy smoke, commencing boundary cooling. So, that is the proper way to report to the bridge. Okay? Now, it should be clear. It should be concise. It should be accurate. Okay? So that whatever the bridge gives orders and receives updates, while the fire team reports on their progress, and requests support is well received. Okay? So, they can understand each other well. Okay? So, for this, that's why the bridge is the control tower. Alright? So, they are well coordinated with each other. Alright? These are example scenarios from the bridge to the fire team. Alright? Okay. So, okay, let's talk about the role of the engineer. As we can see here, this is the engine room. Alright. The role of this engineer is also important. Okay? During marine fire drill, he is the technical expert, of course, in the engine room, and supports the firefighting team from below deck. Alright? Now, while the bridge manages the overall command and the fire team fights the blaze directly, the engineers handle all the machinery that is critical to the operation. Okay? Now, in simple words, alright, engineers are in charge of the power control. Okay. Here, they manage the electrical power. Now, making sure the fire pumps, okay, the emergency lighting, and other essential systems stays on. Alright? While shutting off power to the area of the fire. Now, to prevent short circuits. Alright? Now, their next role with regards to the pumps and valves, alright, they control that fire pumps to ensure or to make sure that there is a constant supply of water for the fire hoses. Alright? Just making sure that there's enough water supply. Now, they open and close the valves to direct the water to the correct location and manage the ship's stability. Alright? Now, their role also is about the ventilation. They are the ones responsible, the engineers, for stopping the ventilation system. Alright? So this is what I I mentioned earlier the crucial step to starve the fire of oxygen. So, they are the ones responsible for that. So, preventing the fire from getting bigger and spreading to other parts of the ship. Now, essentially, these engineers are, we can say, the unseen heroes, right? So, who make sure the fire team has all the resources they need to do its job safely and effectively. So everyone, could you just imagine how important the role of the engineers on board, right? So they are the unseen heroes, no? During emergency cases, especially fire, right? So their role is really not a joke. They are the ones responsible for everything. Okay? The engineers down there in the engine room. Okay. Now, okay, wait one moment. Let's continue with this. Alright. The engine room, by the way, we call it the heart of the ship because they are the ones functioning. Alright. Like us, persons, humans. If ever, whenever, whatever situations, our heart does not function, we're all gonna die, right? Just the same for the ship. The engine room is the heart of the ship. Alright? Because it contains all the machinery that keeps the vessel running. So from the main engine that provides propulsion to the generators, they create electricity. Now, during a marine fire drill, the engine room team, led by the chief engineer, has a vital role in supporting the overall response. Okay? So meaning, in simple words, the engine room manages the power. They make sure that critical systems like the pumps, the emergency lighting stays on, the cutting power to the area of the fire, of course to prevent electrical shorts. Okay? Now also, controlling the pumps, they start and they stop the fire pumps, right? To provide a constant water supply to the fire hoses on deck. And also, the engine room isolates the fire. Yes, they are the ones responsible for shutting down all the ventilation. Of course, to that specific affected area only. Alright? Oh, again, to starve the fire of oxygen. Okay. So, they are the engineers are the unseen crew members, no, who ensure the firefighting team on deck has the resources they need, of course, to do their job safely and effectively. So it's really a team, no? It's really a team. The deck the team on deck is the one in front of the action, the one putting out the fire, and behind that are the engineers. All right, that helps or making sure that the firefighting team has all the resources. All right, so the role of this and the engine room is really important also. They are the unseen heroes here, right? So, all right. So, if there's a role for the engineers, also the deck crew, also they're working together, laying out a fire of hose, right? So, there. So, the role of the deck crew. So what are the main roles of the deck crew? During fire drill, the deck crew's main role are to muster. They quickly gather at their assigned station, right? Can you still recall? Muster station and head count. All right. Now, second role of the deck crew is to fire out or fight the fire. The form core of this firefighting team uses, of course, the hoses, all right, the fire extinguishers and other equipment to attack the fire. And their third role is to containment, meaning closing the doors or the vents to prevent the fire from spreading, and the support. Someone is connecting the valve, connecting the hose to the valve. Someone, the other one carries the hose, okay, and maybe the other one on the edge is the one holding the nozzle. So they support each other, all right, and assist with each other. And of course, the most important role for the deck crew is to follow the orders from, of course, their team leader and the bridge, which is our control tower, for, of course, instructions and how they are going to perform their specific duties, okay, and what's going to be their emergency plan. So here the deck crew is simply called the backbone of the entire emergency response. So the engineers are the unseen heroes. The deck crew are the ones are the backbone of the entire emergency response. So in a fire scenario, the deck crew isn't just a one team. Okay? They are the people who make on multiple and critical roles also to ensure everyone's safety. They do the heavy lifting of this because once there's already water inside this or running here, it's heavy. Alright, it's really heavy, right? And they are the first ones who grab the hoses to extinguish the fire directly, and they close the doors and vents to stop the fire from spreading, right? So they have that critical roles really, and they some of them are standing by for backup to assist, no, to assist, and also some of them are the ones guiding others also. So they help account for all the personnel and direct passengers or other crew for safety, no. So essentially, the deck crew provide essential manpower and of course the technical skills they need to contain the emergency cases, no, or scenarios, and to protect of course the crew or each and everyone in the vessel. So they are the ones really they are the ones everyone else relies on to get the job done. Okay, so they are really the backbone, no, of the entire emergency response team. All right, so for here, a visual flow of the drill. Alright, so let's just think of this as a movie script, no? Or a series of pictures. Now, each picture represents a specific stage of the drill from start to finish. Now, this helps the entire crew, especially the deck crew, know exactly what to do and when to do it without confusion, no? So, here's what the flow looks like. So, there's an alarm, alright? And then 2 is once you heard the alarm, you go to the master station, and then you report and command. And the fourth, excuse me, and the fourth one is the response team. Once you have reported, the response team will get ready. And then number 5, alright, and then number 6 is the boundary cooling, and then where's number 7 here? Oh, it's missing. And then number 8 is you debrief. Alright, so let's let's discuss this one by one. Okay, the alarm sounds. Okay, this is the first picture is blaring alarm, no? So which immediately tells us that tells everyone to stop what they're doing once you heard the alarm, and then you go directly to the master station. Alright, quickly orderly rush to the designated master stations. Alright, and then so from the master station, you will know where the fire is, right? So a crew member here will report. Alright, will tell us where's the fire. Alright, and then the fourth one, this is where the deck crew's support system role comes in, no? The visual. A series of coordination here will be done, no? So the next one is, the fifth one is the simulated firefighting. So the action now here is done. Alright? And then after that, once the fire is put out, or once the fire out is declared, alright, no, after that there's still a boundary cooling, no? And then after that, after putting out the fire, the team leader will now announce a clear signal. Okay, so here the visual flow, alright, is crucial because it takes the abstract instructions, no, from the master list, yeah, and turns them into a clear, memorable series of actions. Now, of course, it helps the crew, the deck crew here, and everyone else to act quickly as possible without hesitation, no, in real emergency situations, because they already practiced the visual flow of the drill. Okay? Here. Now, for our next slide, we have here, it says here that when to abandon the ship. Alright. In a situation like this, during marine fire drill, it means the point at which the crew stops fighting the fire, alright, and prepares to evacuate now the vessel. As you can see here, the lifeboat is being lowered from a ship. Here, the lifeboat is being lowered. Alright. The decision to abandon the ship during a marine fire drill is made only by the ship's master. Okay? Now, it's the absolute last resort. A clear signal that the fire is too big already and you cannot do anything. It's already out of control. Alright? Or it poses an immediate threat to the entire ship's safety and of course for the crew. Now, during a drill, in this scenario, abandoned ship, this is practiced, okay? So that every crew member knows exactly what to do if there's an order from the master to abandon the ship. Okay, now the key points here are, it's the last step. Okay, meaning it comes after all the firefighting efforts have failed. Alright? The alarm is already different. Okay? It already tells everyone that this is an abandoned ship drill, not just a fire drill. And the goal here is the focus shifts from firefighting to getting off the ship safely. Alright? And the deck crew's role, alright, stop with hoses and start preparing lifeboats and life rafts. Now, they have a new mission. Alright? What is that? To help everyone to get to the survival craft and launch them correctly and safely. Okay? Now, okay, after all the fire drill, the abandoned ship drill, alright, the transition to debriefing. Okay. So, I'm sorry, this is not will, this is well. What went well? Alright, this is supposedly L. Alright, now, so the drill is over. Yes. Now, the real learning begins. Alright, so, in simple words, alright, you will talk about what went well. Alright? Like for example, what did the crew do right? Okay? So, did the fire team respond quickly? Alright, you will discuss that. And was the communication clear? Alright. That's how you are going to discuss after the drill. Next, you question what could be better. Alright. So, maybe, what were the mistakes or the delays that you do? Did someone forget their equipment? Alright? Was a door left open? So, those are the questions. What could be better? What are the mistakes? So, how are you going to fix the problems? Alright. So, question here is they identify any equipment that didn't work and make a plan to fix it. So, that's important. Alright? Now, updating the procedures. So, maybe they might or you might realize after the fire drill that a specific procedure in the emergency manual isn't as efficient as it could be, no? And will make a plan to change it. So this debriefing is also important during fire drill. Okay? Because without this, the drill is just a practice of motion. No? So there is no effect. So the real learning here comes from analyzing the performance, identifying the weak points, alright, and making changes to make sure for a real fire, whatever happens, the crew is even more prepared. That is why debriefing is important. Important part of a marine fire drill because it's where the real learning and learning and improvement happens, right? The drill itself is the practice, but the debriefing is the analysis that makes the crew, of course, safer for a real emergency. Okay, so here's why it is important. Alright, so you will debriefing, fitting the piece. Alright, so in the briefing, you can find your weaknesses, of course. Alright? You can improve procedures. Okay? You can prevent blaming each other. Yeah. And you are strengthening your teamwork, of course. No? Yeah, that's why the briefing is important. And next is, what are the key questions for the debriefing? So as I said earlier, that's what went well, what can we improve, okay? Yeah, this question is about recognizing success. And what can we improve? The most critical question or crucial question, because it's about finding the problems to fix it, okay? And also, this one is identifying the gaps in training. Alright. In identifying the gaps, okay, here, you are pinpointing, alright, the weaknesses. Alright, you are identifying the weaknesses during the fire drill. You're figuring out what went wrong or what could have been better. Alright? Because it turns out the practice run into a real world training. or learning instead of just going through the motions. Now, the crew looks for flaws, no, to fix them before a real emergency happens. Now, here are examples of how are we going to identify our weaknesses. The communication breakdown. Alright, now one. Maybe someone might have had trouble, no, hearing the instruction over the radio. So, our team leader's orders were unclear. Alright? Maybe also, there's an equipment issues, no? Like, the fire hose might, excuse me, might have been tangled, no? Or a fire extinguisher was not in its proper place. Alright? Or, a key piece of equipment wasn't working correctly, no? So, next is the procedural errors also. That's how you are going to identify the weaknesses. Okay, now maybe a crew member might have gone to wrong master station. Alright, so a fire door wasn't closed quickly, alright, which could allow a real fire to spread. Okay, and then maybe a lack of awareness, no? So maybe a crew member might not have known their specific role or what their job was supposed to be. So you're causing delays. So by identifying these weaknesses, okay, the crew can then work on a plan in order for them to correct. Alright? Now, whether through training, weekly education conducted by the master, and then you fix the equipment by checking it properly, and then updating the emergency procedures. Now, through that, it's how the crew and the ship gets safer over time. Alright? So, that's how we are going to identify our weaknesses. Okay? And then, here, okay, this is an example of a drill report. Alright, this one. So, you just go over this, and this is just a sample, no, of a fire drill report. Alright? So, okay. So, a continuous improvement cycle. Alright. So, I made here a cycle, like, for example, a loop. Okay, a loop. This is a continuous process, alright, to improve our safety or your safety on a ship. Now, after a marine fire drill, it means you don't just finish the drill and forget about it after. No, you don't have to do that, and don't ever do that, because this is a cycle. Cycle means it's just excuse me, it's just doing it again and again. Alright, so number one, how to improve is you plan. Okay, you plan. You decide on what you're going to do. Okay, now before the drill, you plan a scenario. Okay, now you assign roles to the crew and make sure, no, that all the emergency equipment is ready to go. Alright, so you have now the plan. And then now you are going to do the drill itself. Here, the crew acts out the emergency. Okay? Following the plan you made. So, the crew, the deck crew, respond to the alarm, as well as the engineers. So, the respond to the alarm, like fight the fire, you know now what equipment you're going to use, right? And then, the third one, to improve, alright, the cycle is to check. Now, right after the drill, you check how it went. Alright? Now, this is now the debriefing phase. Remember? Now, you look at what went well and what didn't. Right? Okay. Like for example, did everyone get their station quickly? Or did everyone get to their station quickly? Or did the fire hoses work? Alright. So, did someone forget their life jacket to wear? So, that's one of the improvement you're going to check. And lastly, the action or act. Now, based on what you have found out here, so in the check stage, you take action to fix the problem. Okay? Because this could mean more training or buying new equipment on board. Or maybe all you have to do is to change the procedure. So, the results of these steps then become a part of the next plan. Alright? And then you start again the loop. You plan, you do, you check, and then you act. Okay. Now, in simple terms, it's a way to constantly, continuous learn from the practice drills. Of course, to get better. So that if a real emergency happens, you, everyone, and other crew are as prepared as possible. Alright? So, did everyone catch the lesson? Alright. So, fire drill is really important. Right? Now, alright, next. Oh, alright. So, we're done. Okay. For our next meeting, that's going to be on the 35th week. There's still a series of drills to discuss about. Like, for now, for this week, we discussed about the marine fire drill. Next is the abandoned ship drill, the oil spill drill, alright, and other drills, alright. By our next meeting, we will continue about emergency situations, different emergency situations on board. So, I'll try my best to make it more simple and as slow as possible, so that I can give you the best simple words or terms, all right, for everyone to understand. All right, so again, for now, I'm again your teacher for today, teacher Shelly. So I'll see you all on the 35th week of our lesson with regards to maritime English. All right, and thank you very much for listening. All right, bye everyone. Have a good day.